Greetings. Welcome to CRWS Decoding of Chucky Season 1, the TV series created by, based on the characters created by Don Monacy or something like that. I really don't care to pronounce it correctly. Anywho, I'm just going to give a brief summary about what this show was about and then get into the decoding. Essentially, it's a TV show based on the films about the Chucky entity creature who who has used voodoo to transfer his soul into the body of a good guy doll, and he was also a serial killer. Greetings, Mr. Royale. And the show he was trying to do, the show is actually not about that. The show he's trying to, I guess, create an army of Chuckies. But that's not what we're here to discuss. We're not here to discuss the plot or anything like that. We're here to discuss the racism coded within this TV show. And there are tons of racism in this TV show. Where should we begin? Oh, I guess we could get right into it. Let's talk about Chucky in itself, what this show signifies and represents. The show is definitely representing the glorification of death, murder, and it shows many sentiments I suspect white people to have about each other and non-white people. The big point is white people not caring about children at all. That can be seen in just children being killed in this film. I mean, in this TV show. The season finale, we see the character Tiff. She says she gives the good guy doll to the little girl here, Lexi's little sister. And she says, well, I'm sure one measly sick child can take care of himself, referring to children in a sick hospital ward, something like that. And we also see Chucky stab 2 teenagers in this film, which maybe want to do some research, because at the end of the series, Chucky he recounts the number of murders that he has done throughout the series of 8 episodes, and it was 21 murders. And I said, okay, 21. Let me do some research on what serial killers have killed 21 people, and I came across Larry Eller, and this was a serial killer who was active from he was born December 21st, 1952. He died March 6, 1994, and I suspect this is the serial killer that Chucky may be based off of, because he's a homosexual serial killer, and I suspect the whole coded messages of Chucky could reflect pedophilia, given the fact that the first 3 films is about a man trapped in a doll body trying to transfer his soul into a little boy's body. You know, that to me has sexual ramifications for sure. And Larry William Eiler was has allegedly killed 21 people, just like the number of victims Chucky had in his TV show. And Larry Eller was also active in Illinois, and Chucky, the first movie, takes place in Chicago, Illinois. So more indication that this character may be based on this individual serial killer, real life serial killer Larry William Eiler. And on the Wikipedia page, it says paraphilia. By the mid 1970s, Eiler was well known within the gay community of Indianapolis, particularly among those with a leather fetish. ISIS papers, boasting moment. Several acquaintances within this community describe Eiler as a good-looking, laid-back guy, an avid bodybuilder who was close to his mother and his sister. Although others who had engaged in sexual activity with him described him as an individual with a sadistic streak and violent temper which would only surface within their sexual encounters, often involving either extensively bludgeoning, inflicting light knife wounds upon unwilling partners, particularly those to their torso. So very relatable to Chucky, the whole franchise. He stabs a lot of people, slashes a lot of people, and he's very famous for walking around with that butcher knife. And he kills one of the main characters with a butcher knife at the end of the series. So could be very much connected to this character here, Larry Eiler. I suspect the creators of Chucky were inspired by this serial killer. And this, there's something also very interesting regarding Larry Eiler when comparing it to the Chucky series. We see between 1982 and 1984, Eiler is known to have committed a minimum of 21 murders and one attempted murder. All his murders involved the restraining of his victims, and several victims were subjected to varying degrees of sadomasochism before being stabbed or slashed to death, with the majority of the wounds being inflicted to the victim's chest and abdomen. His victims were typically plied with alcohol and sedatives such as eclaverol before their restraint and murder. Several victims were disemboweled after death, and Eiler is known to have dismembered the bodies of 4 of his victims. His victims were typically discarded in fields close to major interstate highways with their trousers and underwear frequently discovered around their knees or ankles, and their shirts and wallets missing from the crime scene. There's about a number of episodes where we see Chucky in his human form before he was transferred his soul into this doll using voodoo, which is a very common racist archetype of voodoo being presented in a manner that is incorrect and that just really outlandish. And he also they added another voodoo spell in this series, which allows him to transfer his soul into many other good guy dolls by getting a child to someone innocent to kill. And that reminds me of the kind of killing that take place in this film. He kills an animal. He gets a son to kill their father, patricide, which is very common and a mindset of the system of white supremacy. And just getting studying the white behavior, the white relations in this series, we can see that the white family structure is very, very dysfunctional. None of the children, none of the white children in this series have a correct functioning relationship dynamics with their parents at all. They're either very, very spoiled or very, very disconnected in their household, which I suspect is just what it means to be white. I don't think persons who classify themselves as white oftentimes get along unless they're practicing white supremacy or attempting to maintain the system of white supremacy. I may be in error, I may be totally wrong, but that's just from my observations of this TV series. Also, Chucky stabs a lot. This individual here, serial killer Larry Eiler, stabbed 21 people allegedly and tortured them. And Chucky has also done that. And we also see Chucky and his white female woman, white supremacist partner. They also go on killing sprees together, and they chop bodies up and all sorts of things to discard them. And let's talk about the characters. I'm going to talk about the main, just something really telling. You know, Neely Fuller says that racist man and racist woman, they want to take us. They want to take Black people. If you're a Black male, they want you chasing after white anus, and if you are a Black female, they want you chasing after a white vagina or a white penis. So there's a character, Devin, and this character is very, very just so this character is just so racist. Just his portrayal. This character is a I'm not calling this character racist. I'm calling like what this character represents. It's just racism, white supremacy 101. Devin is a Black male who does not have a father figure in his existence. He is very, very seems to be white identified. He loves serial killers and researching crime and whatnot. And he develops a incorrect arrangement with the main character, Jake. I think name is Jake Wheeler. Could be incorrect, but yeah, he develops a really incorrect arrangement, and he eventually becomes the damsel in distress because he is saved by white people at the end of the series. And when I first saw this character, Devin, I knew he was going to be just made to be a just impotent Black male who is also a countersexual. I just saw it coming from a mile away because as you see here, this show, racism, white supremacy, racist man, and racist woman, they're very serious about keeping the confusion going and wrapping up the confusion. There are no Black couples in this film. There's not a single dark skinned Black female or Black male in this series existing like constructively together. You do see a Black male at the end of the series get ambushed by Andy, who, and he's just trying to do his job, but he gets ambushed by Andy, and Andy could have handled that situation better, but hey, he's a Black male. Yeah, we could beat the hell out of them if we're trying to do what we need to do to so-called save people. So Devin gets molested by Jake throughout the series. Where is that? Yeah, it was actually I wasn't surprised that this was that this happened. In the system of white supremacy, there's no way for a white man and a non-white person to have a balanced relationship. The white man and a white woman has power. They function totally different when compared to a non-white person who is powerless and more times than not very confused about their position in this system. So when this sort of things happen, this can be viewed as rape. You know, the one on the left, Jake, is a man, and the one on the right is a boy. You know, it's not a man. So this is a form of molestation, a form of rape. This highly retards us further. Highly, it's not imagery that we should be spreading anywhere, or that should be promoted anywhere, because how does this produce justice? How does this produce correctness? It does not. And two of the same sexes cannot procreate. And if we want to continue any species, you have to procreate. So really, really incorrect. And again, the Devin character becomes a damsel in distress. He gets not only does he become a damsel in distress, but he also becomes the help at towards the end of the series. He gets kidnapped, and then it spends 2 episodes being completely helpless, tied to a chair, gagged, you know, and then he gets saved by Andy, a white man, and I think I forget his stepsister's name, but stuff with a K, something like that. They get saved by he gets saved by them, and then they are able to where is that? Yeah, they're able to continue their incorrect countersexual arrangement, which is again incorrect. And these are like high, I believe they're 14. They're supposed to be 14-year old. So, and Chucky is not a TV show that any child should be watching, but in System of Supremacy, we can guarantee that people of all ages are consuming this information, consuming this concept, not understanding what they're witnessing, not understanding the racism being promoted, the black male misandry being promoted. Again, Devin does not have a father figure, attempted father in his existence, and becomes a damsel in distress, gets saved by white people, and even towards I don't know, I didn't screenshot it, but when Jake is killing one of the Chuckies towards the end, Devin is literally just standing behind him, not helping, not doing anything about it, just observing, just spectating, honestly. Um, and back to the mindset within the system of white supremacy that white people do not care about children. There's this moment where the army of Chuckies, there's like a Q&A session, and Chucky, the main Chucky says, when one of them asks, "Hey, is there an age limit?" And then Chucky says, "Well, we don't kill. How about we don't kill babies? We're not savages." But that's what he says. But if you understand the history of white supremacy and the many massacres white people have committed, just how they handled the Tasmanian, the people known as Tasmanians in the area of the world known as Australia, just understanding that white people have no problem killing babies, retarding babies with their chemicals, no problem, had no problem chopping babies from the bellies of black females. So yeah, white people historically, traditionally have been so-called savages, I suspect. But continuing on with this scene, one of the Chuckies asks, "Can you define babies?" And Chucky says, what does he say? He said, "Well, let's just say nobody under the age of 5 or 6. So it's okay for them to kill 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds onward, And I just think this is hinting that white people did not care about children, because in this universe here, the Chucky verse, his army of Chuckies, they have free range to kill anyone over the age of 6. So 7-year-olds. So that's really telling that white people do not care about children. They only produce children to continue the system of white supremacy, to combine to combine a white person, a white female, a white woman, and a white man will get together, not because they necessarily love each other, because love cannot exist in this system, but they will come together to combine their the power that they have from white supremacy racism, the resources that they have from white supremacy racism, and they're just combining forces, combining that power and producing an offspring, because it's their duty to keep their race. The only race on the planet is a white race. It's their duty to keep that race going on. It's their job. And we have this Lexi character here, the one with the green dress. Her entire family, again, dysfunctional, totally disconnected, no real feelings involved, I suspect here. And this character, just a total example of the powerful white woman. She is not only that, but just she's very, very cruel, and she's still we are still led to want to have sympathy for her. I want to root for her towards the end of the series, even though she there's one example where she dresses up as Jake's dad, who was killed by Chucky via um, electrocution. I don't know if I'm probably pronouncing that word wrong, but retarded victim here. So, oh well. Anyways, Chucky kills Jake's dad, and she dresses up as Jake's dad via during a Halloween party, and it's just fun. It's just fun for her, like mocking people suffering. It's fun. It's fun to them. And during the season finale, they are watching Frankenstein, which is an excellent study and example of just how the system of white supremacy functions. Because Frankenstein is a monster created by white people or by a white person, and the system of white supremacy, non-white people are monsters created by white people, and then we are being mistreated, hunted down, and killed on many cases. And that's what Frankenstein is about. You know, he was created. He didn't ask to be here. We didn't ask to be made into non-white people. We didn't ask to be classified as non-white, black, red, yellow, brown. We didn't ask for these classifications, but white people gave them to us, and they have made us monsters via conditioning us to be addicted to being super silly, conditioned us to be super stupid, not able to understand that we are being mistreated 24/7 in all areas of people activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor law, politics, religion, sex, and more, and all other areas that you can think of. White people are dominating us in those areas and mistreating us. And because they have retarded us in all of those areas, we function as nothing more than monsters and monstrosities. But white people, it doesn't stop white people from mistreating us. We don't get the pity that we deserve or the help that we deserve. And again, the only black people in this TV series were mistreated. There was a black female, one of the only dark skinned black females I saw on screen. She was also a bit chubby. That could also be telling, but she helps Chucky by giving him directions, and Chucky literally he I guess she thinks she's talking to a kid in a costume. Anyway, she gives Chucky's directions, and he gives her an apple, and the apple has been sabotaged, and we see her mouth bleeding, assuming that he put like a razor blade or something inside the apple. So even when black people help white people, we are often mistreated, or it often leads to us being further mistreated because we do not understand what we are dealing with. We do not suspect white people of being heinous, of being deceitful, of being violent, which if you look at history, just one area, what any direction in history, we can understand and see that white people are very deceitful, are very violent. What other groups have gone through to landmass to landmass and totally obliterating the people there and the land there? Only white people have this history, this really specific history of being super malevolent. But we don't we've been trained to love them, to condition them, and we will have um a lot more, I don't want to say successful, but we will have a more correct understanding of what we're dealing with, and if we really paid attention to their history and also to what they're doing now. But at the most least we could do is just suspect white people. We have to be suspicious of every single person who may be able to be a racist. And must remember, being racist, you must have a power system behind you, meaning that only white people can be racist because only white people have a total system behind them, and that helps them, gives them power in all areas of people activity. So it's not a privilege to be white. It's powerful to be white. So what we need to do is be suspicious of white people. We need to be suspicious of them. We need to understand that when we are talking to any white person who may be a racist, then act accordingly, which means just study them, ask questions, and don't let just don't be deceived by them, which can be very, very hard, especially if you don't have this information. So I would say go to producejustice.com, buy the book, buy the Counter Racist Code book by Neely Fuller Jr., and listen to some of those podcasts if you don't want to do some reading. But yeah, this show just promotes just nothing of constructive value. Would not recommend watching the show. There's definitely also harkens back to, you know, just the creation of Rome and how patricide was involved in that, a son killing the father. And we see that here with this character right here. Chucky convinces him to kill his father, and he does so through manipulation and deceit. And Chucky is a great example of manipulation and deceit, because he deceives every single person that he encounters, who he reveals himself to. And again, the whole concept of this Chucky, it's a serial killer man trapped in a doll's body, who wants to transfer his soul into a little boy's body. That has to have some sort of pedophilic ramifications. That just has to, or I may be in error. The whole voodoo racist just character, which racist archetype, voodoo being this concept that blacks have used to create black magic, is totally false. But this film just takes it and runs with it. You know, voodoo is presented as a real thing that that white people are using to produce things like this, you know, to transfer their souls into a body. And again, this character here on the right, the red dress, I think her name is Jennifer Tilly. She's also an example of a white woman power, because we often don't pay attention to the white woman. We often just think it's white man maintaining the system, but it takes two to tango. It takes white man and white woman and white child to keep the system going. And there's a scene, there's many scenes actually, where she's just presented to be so beautiful. I don't think she's attractive at all. I think she's quite grotesque looking, but that's besides the point. She's presented as this beautiful woman who can just entrance people and get them to do whatever they want. She comes to the wake of a husband's wife who Chucky has just killed, and she kisses him, and that just like leaves him just like in awe of her. And I'm like, oh wow, this is interesting. And again, a character says that yeah, just look at her, she could get anybody to do anything with those looks, something like that. So yeah, it's just really telling that the white woman is very powerful in this system. Don't call racist white supremacist women Karens. That's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with racist men and racist women. Karen is a name. So, and I see too many people calling suspected racists Karens instead of what they should be called. Also, this just the final episode, I had to watch it in bits because it was just so grotesque. We see Chucky stabbing people and basically in the anus. You know, he's stabbing people in the anus. He kills he kills the woman in the blue dress and the white child in the purple dress. She kills her husband and her father by stabbing them. They're sitting in a movie theater seat, and Chucky's underneath the seat, and he's just stabbing people from underneath the chair. And we see her dad just sitting still, and blood starts dripping out of his mouth, and it lands into the popcorn. And then the blue dress white woman eats the popcorn before realizing that it has blood on it, and then she realizes that, oh, what the hell? And we don't know if she's dead, but it's besides the point. It's very grotesque. And this is fun. White people put a lot of money behind producing this sort of content, and I suspect it's because white people love this sort of thing. They love the bloody gore, the goreness of it. And I've heard some attempted counter racist warriors and counter racist scholars say that like practicing racism, a white person practicing racism, that gives them some sort of sexual gratification. And I think that's correct, especially and one has seen that show Dexter. I was watched it when I was very confused, and I didn't pick up on it. But when Dexter is stabbing people, and same here with Chucky is like stabbing people, he's like moaning. He's like, he's having a good time. And going back to this to the character that I suspect Chucky is based on, Larry Eiler, who again, he's a serial killer who has 21 victims. Chucky killed 21 people in this season. And Larry Eiler, he only killed young teenagers or boys. Um, so very interesting. And again, he would stab his victims and torture his victims and disembowel them. So I suspect he was getting sexual gratification from that, just like Jeffrey Dahmer was, and just like many other serial killers have been and are still currently doing. So yeah, this maybe another reason to avoid sex with white people. If you are non-white, you should not be having sex with white people because sex is a totally different thing for them. Non-white people have sex to show like appreciation, to show compassion for so-called loved ones. I mean, so-called romantic partners or whatever. But white people don't do that. Sex is a power display. Sex is control, which is why the history of lynching, they were chopping off black penises and black genitals to capture that power and put it in pickle jars, and it's probably in a white person's home right now as a decorative piece or whatever. So it's a more. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a ton of the racist elements because I'm doing all 8 episodes in one sitting. Again, the image on the screen right here is totally incorrect. Definitely pushing the counter-sexual, anti-sexual, so-called homosexual agenda. And I must say that I really don't care. If you want to be anti-sexual, please, by all means. But if you are not helping to produce a system of justice, guaranteeing no one is allowed to be mistreated, and those who need help receive constructive help, then I don't know why you are existing. Every person on planet Earth should be wanting to produce a system of justice. And if you're a white person and you are capturing black people and this LGBTQ thing that y'all have going around, then you are committing the most racist aggression, the most racist act that you can commit on planet Earth, which is to have sex with a non-white person while the system of white supremacy exists. So if you want to be a counter-sexual, anti-sexual, go for it, but please help produce a system of justice or provide some constructive results. Why is it constructive for these arrangements to happen? I understand that in the white nature, the white behavior, the history of so-called white people, that this is their norm. This is normal and there's culture. But for non-white people, not so much. We have been conditioned to behave in this manner. We have been conditioned to want to be like many white people. Basically, white imitators is what we're doing when we are practicing homosexuality. Because if it doesn't help to solve problems, what is the purpose of doing it? But as I said, so-called homosexuals help solve the problem, or I I don't know why that's not a part of y'all's agenda. If y'all are not here to help produce a system of justice, what is the agenda? Now, just questions you can answer in the comments if you come across this video. To say anything else. And also, Devin's victim mother, she was very she wasn't a likable character at all. I'm pretty sure that was intentional because all of the other parents were kind of tolerable, but yeah, Denzel and Stress, just cover that. Yeah, I guess that wraps us up. I'm pretty sure I missed a ton. If you do watch the series, you want to chime in on something stuff I missed, please do. Would not recommend this show, but I do know tons of non-white people are consuming this information, so I hope they come across this video and get some constructive information about what this show is really about, which is promoting death, violence, and destruction, promoting confusion, because again, these are teenagers in this show. Devin, black male, Jake, white man, are in a incorrect anti-sexual arrangement, which could probably motivate a lot of other young black males, black females to want to do the same, which is super dangerous and super volatile content to be spreading to the masses. And this shows on, I believe, the Sci-Fi Channel and USA. So that's like two. I wish I had a double whammy, Neely Fuller soundbite. But yeah, it's hitting a lot of people, this content. So I hope there was of valuable, constructive information. I'm gonna read the chat. Chucky is the original transhuman. I identify as a boy. 100% smoking damages. I remember that in the first Chucky movie, Racist Man and Racist Woman made sure to note that Chucky learned the power of inhabiting an object from a black male. Interesting. That's correct. That's correct. And he also kills that black male using using voodoo as well. So again, that just takes me to the tradition. The traditional arrangement between white people and non-white people, especially black people, has been black people have accepted and brought and taught white people many of things. White people have historically been deceptive towards us, mistreated us, and taken the things we've taught them to use against us, which is what happened in Chucky, the first film, and what is happening now in 2021. I suspect white people will not have access to just the knowledge that they do if they not have if black people, non-white people had not taught them. And I must say that when I say black, I am meaning people classified as black by people who control race. The only race on planet Earth is the white race because they created the concept and they do all the classifications. So when I say black, I'm meaning people who are classified as black, non-white, people who are classified as non-white. And I think that wraps up this decoding. I think we covered everything. Oh, I covered everything. Yep, Chucky kills for fun. And we learn a lot about his history. I have another. We have patricide, and we have it again when we learn about Chucky's origin, because I'm just reminded that Chucky and in his existence, he was his house was invaded by a serial killer, and Chucky and his mother are hiding in a closet, and Chucky kills his mom in that closet when he's a little boy. When he's like a tiny little boy, he kills his mother, and the serial killer like affirms him for that. So yeah, and Ethan Crumley, the latest of the terrorist white killers. He's probably around that age, 14, 15. I don't know how old he is, but he'll be in a Rips episode coming up probably later today. But yeah, white people, perhaps I may be in error, but they have to be taught how to be compassionate and whatnot. And I think that's what a lot of films are for, is to teach them how to be what a human should be. But humans don't exist on planet Earth. Unfortunately, we're all subhumans until the system has been replaced with a system of justice. And white people don't care about anything besides maintaining the system of white supremacy, and they don't care about their mothers or fathers. You know, this series shows a child killing their mother and a child killing their father. So that just could be what it means to be white. I could be in error, but I don't want to repeat myself too much. I don't want to ramble on here. So I hope this was a constructive value. Please like, comment, and share this when I upload the official version. Yes, thank you for your audience.